Nice costume jewelry, my sister Meredith laughed, pointing at the simple silver necklace I wore. Some of us can afford the real thing, you know. She extended her wrist to display a glittering diamond bracelet that caught the chandelier light, and every head at the Thanksgiving table turned to admire it. What Meredith didn't know was that I'd personally approved her credit application at that jewelry store 6 months ago. The table erupted in the familiar sounds of admiration. My mother cooed over the bracelet. My aunt asked where she'd gotten it. My brother-in-law mentioned the carat weight like he'd memorized it for exactly this moment. And my 15-year-old daughter Autumn sat beside me, her cheeks flushing red with secondhand embarrassment. "It's from Bellamy's," Meredith announced proudly. "The most exclusive jeweler in the city. They don't just let anyone shop there. You have to be approved." She shot me a look. "But I'm sure you wouldn't know anything about that, Corinne." I touched my necklace, the one our grandmother had given me before she died. Sterling silver with a small pearl pendant. Worth maybe $200 on a good day. Meredith had always hated that Grandma gave it to me instead of her. "It's beautiful," I said calmly. "Bellamy's has lovely pieces." "Oh, you've heard of it? That's cute. Maybe someday you can window shop there." More laughter. "I mean, not to be rude, but we all know you're not exactly in the diamond bracelet tax bracket." Autumn grabbed my hand under the table. "Mom, can we leave?" "Soon, honey. Let's get through dinner." My mother, ever the peacekeeper, changed the subject to Meredith's husband Kevin's recent promotion. Kevin worked in pharmaceutical sales. He made good money but spent better. Their lifestyle was a carefully constructed illusion of wealth, supported by credit cards, car leases, and my sister's relentless need to appear superior. I knew this because I had access to her credit file. Bellamy's Fine Jewelers was one of 7 businesses I owned through my holding company. I'd purchased it 4 years ago when the original owner retired. It was profitable, well-managed, and catered to clients who valued discretion. I stayed invisible by design, letting my general manager handle day-to-day operations while I focused on my investment portfolio and other acquisitions. Meredith had walked into Bellamy's in May, expecting to be denied. Instead, she'd been approved for a $15,000 line of credit. She'd maxed it out within 3 months. The diamond bracelet currently catching the light was the most recent purchase, $8,400, paid over 12 months at 18% interest. My sister was paying me interest on the bracelet she was using to mock me. I'd never intended to use this information. Family and business stayed separate. But watching Autumn shrink in her chair while Meredith preened made something shift inside me. "That bracelet really is stunning," I said, keeping my voice light. "What's the interest rate on Bellamy's store credit these days?" Meredith's smile flickered. "What? The store credit? You financed it, right? I'm just curious about the terms. I don't see how that's any of your business." "You're right. Forget I asked." The table went quiet. Meredith's eyes narrowed. She'd been controlling family narratives for 38 years, and she didn't appreciate anyone disrupting the script. "For your information," she said coldly, "some of us don't need to worry about interest rates. Kevin and I are very comfortable. I'm sure you are. Unlike some people who still live in that tiny house Mom and Dad gave you. They didn't give it to me. I bought it from them at market value." "Sure you did." Autumn stood up. "I'm getting dessert." She fled to the kitchen. I watched her go, my heart aching. My daughter had heard these comparisons her entire life. Aunt Meredith's big house. Aunt Meredith's vacations. Aunt Meredith's designer clothes. And her mother, Corinne, the quiet one who worked from home and drove a 10-year-old Subaru and apparently couldn't afford real jewelry. The truth was more complicated. After my divorce 7 years ago, I'd taken my settlement and made a decision. Instead of buying a bigger house or a nicer car or anything that would invite commentary, I'd invested. Quietly, carefully. I'd learned about real estate, small business acquisition, and portfolio management. I'd built something substantial while everyone assumed I was barely scraping by. My current net worth was just over $11 million. I owned 7 businesses, 3 apartment buildings, and a stock portfolio that generated enough passive income to live comfortably for the rest of my life. But I still wore Grandma's silver necklace. I still drove my Subaru. I still lived in the modest house where I'd raised Autumn alone. Because wealth, to me, wasn't about showing off. It was about security, freedom, options. Options like the one I was about to exercise. Thanksgiving ended with the usual strained goodbyes. Meredith air-kissed my cheek and whispered, "Maybe next year you can afford a real contribution to dinner instead of that sad green bean casserole." I'd made the casserole from scratch. It was Grandma's recipe. Meredith had brought store-bought pumpkin pie and presented it like she'd slaved for hours. In the car, Autumn was quiet. "You okay, sweetheart? Why do you let her talk to you like that?" "Because responding just makes it worse." "But it's not true. We're not poor. Are we?" I glanced at my daughter. She'd never asked directly before. I'd kept my finances private, not wanting to burden her with information she might accidentally share. But she was 15 now, old enough to understand. "We're not poor, Autumn. We're actually very comfortable." "Then why does Aunt Meredith always act like we're charity cases?" "Because she doesn't know. And I've never corrected her." "Why not?" I pulled into our driveway. The house was small but well maintained. Garden in the front. New roof last year. Nothing flashy. Because I learned a long time ago that people who need to feel superior will always find a reason. If I showed up with diamonds, she'd find something else to criticize. My clothes. My hair. My car. It would never end. So I stopped playing the game. "But she humiliated you in front of everyone." "She humiliated herself. She just doesn't know it yet." Autumn looked at me curiously. "What does that mean?" "It means tomorrow morning, I'm going to make a phone call." Friday morning, 9 a.m. I sat in my home office with a cup of coffee and dialed Bellamy's. "Good morning, Bellamy's Fine Jewelers. This is Marcus." "Marcus, it's Corinne Walsh." A pause. Marcus had been the general manager for 3 years. He knew exactly who I was. "Ms. Walsh. Happy Thanksgiving. What can I do for you?" "I need you to call a customer for me. Meredith Thornton. She has an outstanding balance on her store credit account." "Let me pull that up." Keys clicking. "Yes, she owes $11,847. Current on payments, though she did miss last month and had to pay a late fee. I'd like you to call her this morning. Tell her the owner wants to discuss her account in person." Another pause. "May I ask what this is regarding?" "A family matter." "Don't worry, I'm not planning anything dramatic. I just want to have a conversation." "Of course. I'll call her right away." An hour later, Marcus called back. "She's coming in at 2 p.m. She sounded concerned. "I'm sure she did. I'll be there at 1:30. Bellamy's was located in the upscale shopping district downtown. Crystal chandeliers. Velvet displays. Security guard by the door. I'd only visited a handful of times since acquiring it, preferring to stay in the background. Today, I walked in through the front entrance. Marcus greeted me personally. "The private consultation room is ready, Ms. Walsh." "Thank you, Marcus. When Mrs. Thornton arrives, please escort her back." I waited in the elegant room, surrounded by display cases of diamonds and gold. At exactly 2 p.m., the door opened. Meredith walked in, her expression shifting from anxiety to confusion when she saw me. "Corinne, what are you doing here? Please sit down." "I don't understand. They said the owner wanted to meet with me." "That's right. But you're—" She stopped, looked around, looked at me. "No, that's not possible. I acquired Bellamy's 4 years ago. It's one of several businesses I own. I've been reviewing your account." Meredith sat down heavily. Her face had gone pale. "This is a joke. Some kind of revenge for yesterday." "It's not revenge. It's a conversation I've been avoiding for a long time." I opened a folder. "You have $11,847 in outstanding debt with this store. You've made minimum payments for 6 months. At your current rate, you'll pay over $4,000 in interest before the balance is cleared. That's none of your business." "It's literally my business. I own it." She stared at me. I could see her mind racing, trying to reconcile the sister she'd dismissed for years with the woman sitting across from her in a jewelry store consultation room. "How?" she finally asked. "You don't have money. You've never had money." "I've had money for years, Meredith. I just didn't advertise it." "But your house, your car, that necklace. I like my house. My car runs perfectly. And this necklace was Grandma's. It means more to me than any diamond." Meredith's hand went instinctively to her bracelet. The $8,400 bracelet she'd used to mock me yesterday. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" "Because I didn't want this. The comparisons. The jealousy. The family drama that comes with money. I wanted to build something quietly and enjoy my life without everyone having an opinion about it. So you just let me." She trailed off. "Let you mock me? Make fun of my jewelry? Tell everyone I was the family failure?" "Yes. Because it didn't matter. I knew the truth. That was enough. Until now." Until you did it in front of my daughter. Meredith flinched. Autumn came home from Thanksgiving embarrassed to be related to me. She asked if we were poor. She's been listening to you tear me down for 15 years, and she finally started believing it. I leaned forward. That ends today. What are you going to do? Call my loan. I could. You signed an agreement that allows the store to demand full payment at any time for accounts showing risk indicators. Your missed payment last month qualifies. Meredith's eyes widened. $11,000. I don't have that. I know you don't. That's not what I want. Then what? I closed the folder. I want acknowledgement. Not publicly. I'm not interested in humiliating you the way you've humiliated me. But in private, between us, I want you to understand that you've been wrong about me. For years. And I want the comments to stop. She was quiet for a long time. I didn't know, she finally said, her voice small. I really thought you were struggling. Would it have mattered? Would you have been kinder if you'd known I had money? She didn't answer. We both knew the truth. Here's what's going to happen, I said. Your account stays active. Same terms. But I'm waiving the interest for the remaining balance. You'll pay what you owe, nothing more. Why would you do that? Because you're my sister. Because despite everything, I don't want to destroy you. I just want to be treated with basic dignity. Meredith's eyes filled with tears. I've been terrible to you. Yes. I don't know why. Mom always compared us. You were the smart one. The capable one. I was the pretty one. When you got divorced and I thought you'd failed, it felt like I'd finally won something. This isn't a competition, Meredith. It never was. She wiped her eyes with trembling hands. I'll do better. I promise. Tell Autumn. She's the one who needs to hear it. Sunday afternoon, Meredith came to my house. Autumn was reluctant to see her, but I convinced her to give it a chance. They sat in the living room while I made tea. I could hear Meredith's voice, softer than I'd ever heard it. I owe you an apology, Autumn. I've said unkind things about your mother for years. I was wrong. Your mom is one of the most successful people I know. She built everything herself, and she did it without bragging or making anyone feel small. I should have been learning from her instead of mocking her. Autumn was quiet for a moment. Did you know? About the jewelry store? I do now, and I'm ashamed of how I acted. Mom says character matters more than money. Your mom is right. When Meredith left, Autumn found me in the kitchen. You really own that jewelry store? I really do. What else do you own? I smiled. Let's save that conversation for when you're older. She hugged me tight. I'm proud of you, Mom. Even before I knew about the money. That's exactly why I never told you. I wanted you to see that success isn't about what you have. It's about who you are. She pulled back and looked at me. Can I have Grandma's necklace someday? I touched the silver pendant. It's always been meant for you. That Christmas, Meredith gave me a gift. A small box from Bellamy's. Inside was a simple silver chain with a pearl pendant. Almost identical to Grandma's. I wanted you to have a spare, she said awkwardly. In case anything ever happens to the original. It wasn't a diamond bracelet. It wasn't flashy or expensive. It was perfect. And for the first time in 38 years, my sister and I finally understood each other.